Full Bloom is brought to you in part by the following. Welcome to Full Bloom, the award-winning show that celebrates life. Here's your host, Zita Christian.
Hi everyone, welcome to Full Bloom. I'm Zita Christian. For more than 20 years in Manchester, there's been a little shop called Meg's Inspirations. It's been owned by Meg Peterson. And I invited Meg to be on the show tonight because of one word in her store, inspiration. She's a town treasure, so is her store. Meg, thanks for being on the show tonight.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, I want you to tell me how you would describe your store.
I consider a one-floor mini department store with all inspirational and spiritual boutique.
A little boutique, yeah, spiritual boutique.
Yeah.
That's a good way to think of it. I like that very much. And give me a general overview of what you carry in the store. I've been in there a gazillion times, but tell me what's there.
Incense, candles, jewelry, aromatherapy, 12-step products, recovery products, all products to feed the body, mind, and soul.
You have some gorgeous journals. You have cards. You have music. You have all kinds of things. And one of the things I noticed last year, or maybe 2 years ago, that you had some beautiful magnets. And I understand that that you're also an artist, and you put your artwork to use in creating some magnets. So tell me about the magnets. What do they symbolize?
It's all my original artwork, and it just started coming out of me, and I just started creating my inspirational messages, the words of inspiration. It just started coming through 8 years ago after I lost my mother. This all started.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, I know.
Because I remember when that happened, I had no idea it had been that long.
And that's what started. It's like all of a sudden, I had this, this gift coming out of me, writing, painting. It was like I felt like she was kind of communicating through me.
Yeah.
So I kind of launched this idea, and now I have 17 magnets, 36 cards, I have journals, nightlights, bookmarks of all my original work.
Just wonderful.
And it's a gift.
Were you formally trained, or is this just
started happening, and I get messages, and then when I start painting, I notice all of a sudden these angels started appearing and fairies, and they're in it through my hands, it's been a journey I'm on. The journey.
I do.
It's like every time you come in, it's like another thing that's happening, and I have to share it with you because you've been with me 20 years.
Yeah, long time. So for those watching the show, you get a good look at the set, and we're going to talk about a couple things in more detail, but we have a gorgeous display of books right down here in front of us. Now, Meg is not the author of the books. I don't want to be misleading. She's a multi-talented woman, but she did not write the books. She did, however, arrange for the authors of these books to come into her shop, Little Meg's Inspiration. How did you get, just in general, how did you get these authors to come into the store?
A lot of them contacted me, and then a lot of them, mostly all my work that I sell in my store and all the books and author events, it's what I'm about. I read my books.
You read the books.
I read all my stuff. And if I love somebody and I want to share it with the world and share what I know, my knowledge, I really want the real person in my store.
All right, now I want to talk a little bit about some of the specific, not so much about the book, but about the authors and their appearance at the store. We're going to start with Karen Casey. And she's had, at least 20, 21,
She's
20...
written 22 books.
22 books.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about her. She's
an amazing lady. She doesn't have any children. She says the 21 books are her children.
That makes sense.
So she launched this, when I met her, it was 15. Now, since then, it's 21. And her first book I sell a tremendous amount of her first book. It's a 12-step program book, but it's each day a new beginning. 350,000 copies to this day has been sold all over.
So even if you're not in a 12-step program, right. A person could benefit from the book.
The book is so powerful. It's like anybody. You just pick it up, and it's like food for thought. That's what I call I call these day-by-day books. I sell a lot of them, food for thought. No matter what, what's going on in your life, it's like all of a sudden you pick up a book, you open it up, and you say, that's what I needed to hear today.
Isn't that the way?
So that's probably why my whole story is about, evolving and evolved around all these modalities of books.
Well, I think what happens too, what I notice from what's in the store and also just from knowing you, you are not a person who gets a hunch or an inspiration and immediately blocks it with something and said, no, I can't do that, that won't work, I could never do that. Instead, you look at something and go, well, let's see how I can make that happen. And I think that's a good lesson for everybody. So let's also look at, okay, one of the other people you had in the store, absolutely flabbergasted that he came. And I wasn't here, I was out of town, or I would have been there. Emoto, who has all the research, the phenomenon, worldwide phenomenon, about how he's saying that emotions can be photographed in water.
Yeah.
Tell me a little about him and when he came to the shop.
Well, everyone thought, I went home, and first of all, I told my husband I wanted to do this Dr. Emoto, and he was like, what? And, because he doesn't understand a little what I'm about in that genre, because you're like water, emotions. If you don't read his material, you don't have a clue about who Dr. Emoto is.
Yes.
But on the other end, ever since I was a little girl, I always thought thoughts are more powerful than words. So I believe, be careful what you think, because if you think, you will attract what you are, and you will draw it to you. So when I read his first book, I was like, that's how I've thought my whole life. Doesn't everybody think like this? That's what I thought. And when I was reading his books, I couldn't get enough of this man. So I picked up the phone and I called him and I said, I really need to host you.
How did you get in touch with him?
I picked up the phone and I called him, and I spoke to his son. He doesn't speak English though. That was the hardest thing. I mean, I wanted to share what I felt in my heart since I was a little girl. Thoughts are very powerful. Be very careful what you say and think, because 98% of our body is water. Water holds memory. You can change the whole thought pattern through the thinking of your emotions, and that's what Dr. Emoto is about.
Yeah, he was a worldwide phenomenon.
He's internationally renowned, and he's just amazing in his scientific studies about words and how they capture the memory of a water in a symbol and a memory. How you can do that, and I just. I called our governor, Jody Rill at the time, and I said, you got to come to this event. I called Senator, everybody. I wanted to share what I believe Dr. Emoto's work is. So I get, when I'm adamant about something, I want to share it with you so you learn. Because we all can change prayer with rice, the way he did with the water with the rice. And they do that work, his work, in a lot of colleges and schools and teaching children.
Now, for the people in the audience who are not familiar with him, I might not be given the best explanation, but he has shown that you can take a picture of the energy pattern of a drop of water. And then if you say nice things to the water, you put good words, positive words, words of love, admiration, intention into the water. Yeah. Like... This water is healing water. This water is filled with blessings for me. This water is very gentle. And write the words on the cup.
It holds memory.
Yes. And then he would take an energetic picture of that water.
He freezes
and it was different.
Yep.
And it was totally different.
It captures it.
Yes.
And music too.
So tell me though, when you have someone like that, you don't try to fit everybody in to the shop. You have to rent a bigger space.
It was like so big. It was 450 people. Yeah. A lot. And so with all that being said, I was like on a huge mission, and it was exhausting, but it was something I really wanted to do. So I was driving everywhere searching for a place with a good space.
And you found one.
Yep.
And that's because it was meant to be.
Yeah.
I want to go over to the next book here now, and the book is called Sacred Signs, and this is Dr. Adrienne Calabrese.
She's a wonderful woman. She's written like 6 books, and she considers me a soul sister. She's from Poughkeepsie, New York, and when I spoke to her on the phone, she says to me, "Oh, I don't frequent stores," and I said, "Okay, I don't consider myself just a store because I don't. It's like people call my store a vortex."
They do, I know. No,
they come in and they're like, "I don't want to leave. I don't. Can I? Some woman said the other day. She said, "I want to put my bed there." And
Okay, that's a little
the
extreme.
energy, the
But
energy. Because again, it's just when you put your intentions into anything, it's good energy. Like here, this is good energy. You know,
this is good energy.
So that with Dr. Adrienne Calabrese, she came and it was a huge success. And then we started classes with her. She taught sacred signs, how to get everything you ever wanted, how to communicate with your guardian angels, how to communicate with your spirit guides. And she's an author of many, many books, and she's a teacher, and she teaches people how to write. And she's in a college, atmosphere. And she's frequent in my store maybe 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of cool things in classes and workshops. So it could be a small venue, it could be a big venue, but I like the smaller ones because they're more intimate.
Well, and I would think
it's more fun too.
It's more of a financial challenge, but for the people who are there to get that much time and to get that individual one-on-one with someone as famous as these people.
More. Yes.
All right, so I want to go to the next one, and this would be Dr. John DeMartini, the breakthrough experience. Isn't he involved with The Secret?
Yes. He was featured in The Secret. He's one of the people they interviewed, and he was an amazing man. They contacted me, and they asked me would I help host it because it was being held at the Marriott, and the venue was very, very expensive. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I would love to have him come to the store because if I share share the advertisement of promoting this man and what he's about, and he's just amazing. His work is, he was never to go to college or never to graduate. He was a dropout. And now he's written, I think, 30 books. And he has a huge following. He has a lot of people he teaches what he's about. And the breakthrough experience is about breaking through what you're, overcoming your issues in life. He said he'd never read because he was dyslexic. He would never graduate high school, so he dropped out. And then he actually hitchhiked to California, Hawaii, and he met like Ram Dass, and he worked with Ram Dass. He all the good deity,
Well, isn't how the saying is, when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yes.
So he was ready, the right teacher appeared, and now for other people who are ready, he appears for them in the role of the teacher, which is lovely the way it goes.
Yeah.
Now, you also have had Dr. Bernie Siegel. And I know we have several books of Dr. Siegel's here. Yeah. He's been to the store several times, hasn't he?
Yes.
Tell me about him.
He's a very gifted doctor and gifted person. He's unbelievable.
He's a medical doctor.
He's a medical doctor, and like you said, his work is over the top. I send his books to everybody. It's not even about being sick. It's trying to, like you said, live your dream, live your purpose. Even when I went to introduce him at the venue, I couldn't come up with the words, but I was saying, I want to say it's about this great gray owl that came to me in real life, and he's like, "Oh, honey, I know exactly what you're talking about." Because he's so into what we're into and all this, and spiritually connected with people and places and things, and he does the drawings and the writings and how to overcome your illnesses, how to help you with your struggles, and how he breaks it all down and with simple work to do to help yourself to heal your body and soul.
Doesn't he also talk about the value of humor?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yes. I tell everybody, go get Queen Latifah DVD or go, I always say, lighten up. Because like you said, we're all, just because you're this age, I don't believe in age and I don't believe in time, but because it's humor. Humor, whatever you want to do. Yeah. Laugh about it. It's just, but so many people are so serious. And when I get into that serious mood, I'm like, I got to put my disco music on and start, or think about what Dr. Bernie said. He says so many great things in his books. His books are amazing, amazing.
So let's go a couple more here. There is a DVD down here called All Is Made Beautiful, and a picture of a Native American woman on the front and another woman beside her. Who are these women?
It's Oceana Fastwolf, and she's a fourth-generation elder from Navajo Hopi, and it's Bettina Gordon, and Bettina Gordon is an international journalist and film director from Vienna. And when I called her, because I was so like, oh my gosh, I got the DVD at my store, I brought it home, and I invited the world over to my house to see the DVD, and I made food. And I'm like, you guys got to see this DVD. I have to meet this woman. I have to share this with everybody. So what I did was I called her on the phone. She called me from Vienna, and she's like, I go, who? Who is this? And she called me back, and she's
Meg,
like,
how do you get these numbers? How do you get a hold of these people?
It's like you said. When Bettina called me, she has a very thick accent from Vienna, and I'm like, who is this? And it was Christmas last year, 2 years ago. I'm like, who? She says, Bettina from Vienna, you called me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know who it is. And then I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
So then I went in the back room, and I'm like, we talked, and she said, I would love to come to meet you. I would love, she says, how about January? So I'm like, really? She says, I'm going to be visiting New York City, and I will be in the area. How far is New York City to Connecticut? And I'm like,
my
really?
gosh.
Yeah, and I'll
So
tell
did you meet her at the train station or something?
Nope,
or?
she actually showed up, and it's been, now we're like soul sisters with her as well, and she hooked me up. She was so grateful. There's 65 people that showed up in my store that day.
Wow.
And I had to get like a guard, and it was like, it had to get, it was, she's absolutely, she's beautiful. Her work is amazing, and the DVD is all about smudging, feathering down. It's all about the journey through the waters, which Oceana Fastwolf was on tour with Janis Joplin and the Grateful Dead, and at 19 years old, she got Hodgkin's disease. She went back to the journey through the waters, her way, her Navajo and Hopi way, to give back to Mother Earth things she no longer wants to carry in her body. That's what the journey through the waters is. Bettina, being in Vienna, she was a multimillionaire in her journey, but all of a sudden saying, I have to change my life. Something's going on. I got all the money. I got this, but there's something spiritually missing. She went on the journey through the waters, and she got involved with Oceana, Deep Arrow, all these people to do the journey through the waters to go back to Mother Earth. She's brought up, her parents are scientists, both of them. She had no idea. She doesn't know anything about any of this stuff. She was like, did I just join an occult? Oh. So that's what happened, and that's how she said more people, she's like me, more people have to, I want to share this work with more people. So she took a big chunk of her money and invested in her DVD.
In Oceana Fastwolf's DVD.
In that DVD, All's Made Beautiful. And that's what started this whole thing. Then she left my store, and she said, you have to meet Deep Arrow and Two Feathers. They have a huge, Native American ritual meeting house, doing work with Mother Earth, the four directions, the animal totems, the animal allies, and so on and so forth. So now Deep Arrow has been, the past 5 years, doing women's circles in my store. Sacred Lodge work in my store, going within, so a lot of people, my customers, have altars, Native American altars, and they do the work, they practice the work, and like Deep Arrow owned the largest metaphysical bookstore in the world called Planet Earth. She sold it to do this work and to share all the information that Oceana has been teaching her, because it's not written down in any language.
We didn't talk about this before, but cool. I have to tell you, I have to introduce you to my friend Michi Garza, Grandmother Michi. She is Choctaw Cherokee, half Choctaw Cherokee and half Caucasian. And I attended her installation as a medicine woman a number of years ago on a mountaintop in West Virginia. And
isn't it amazing?
Fascinating. I mean, there are teachers out there that we just need to look. We need to have our eyes open and look. So we have about 10 minutes left, and I want to get to, the Everett Principle. This is Dr. Brewer, right?
Yes, he contacted me last August. He studies with Dr. Andrew Weil, but he took it to one notch up. He works in Sedona at Canyon Ranch, and he kept emailing me, and then call me on the phone. And I said, listen, I don't know who you are. I know you're a medical doctor, and I love Dr. Andrew Weil.
I do too.
And I love his work, and I support him immensely. But I said, with all that being said, I have to personally read your book to promote you. I do not, so he sent me his book, and I read his book, and I did like it. And it's excellent. And I sell it in my store as well. And so we made a date, made it happen. But I'm a type of person, I'm not going to promote or share or sell something that I don't really believe in, because it comes from my heart, and that's what I'm all about.
Well, now that gets me to the last of the. Now there have been other authors as well. We picked 8, but there have been others. So the last one I want to talk about is Colette Baron-Reed. Now she's going to be at your shop on Saturday, December 3rd.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about her.
I love her work as well. And a couple years ago, she was at my store 2 years ago, and her work is everyone in the world should read the book The Map, because
I'm reading that now.
The book is, and if you're not ready for it, you will be ready. But it's just amazing. It's inner work. It's inner journey work. It's work we all should focus on and apply to our daily life. Take the time. And
it answers that question, why am I here?
Yes.
You have to
your
do the
sole
work.
purpose.
Yes.
And everyone asks me the same thing. What am I going to do? I can't stay on my job. I can't stay. Well, then change. Or else I even have young people coming to me, a lot of young people, and they say, but I just don't know what I want to do. I said, yes, you do. And I always ask them, I said, you have, like, what do you like to sing? Do you like to dance? Do you like to cook? They always are asking me this. And so it's not just, and that's what it is. Live your dream. Focus on it. And that's what her book is about. She's so gifted, but she pulls from the Native American way, too, because I love that. And she has, I think she's part Native American because of, the necklace and stuff. But her work is, the messages from Spirit. I love, love, love that book. Talks about all your symbols. The symbols are all around us, all the sacred signs that are around us, all the stuff that she wrote in that book. I've been, applying to my life for all my life.
Meg, I want to skip quickly here just for a minute because we don't have a lot of time, and I want to focus on the fact that you also have workshops, and I want to focus on one in particular, and that's about angels. This has been an ongoing workshop for what? How many years? 3, 4,
maybe
5?
Maybe 3, maybe 4 or 5. Yeah.
Okay, so in this workshop, can people come and go? If somebody has not already been in, can they join at any time?
Yes.
And what happens in the workshop?
I teach it and try to share a lot of my knowledge and help and guide people, because a lot of people say, how do you get in contact with my spirit guides or my guardian angels, or who are these angels, and so on and so forth. And I've had a lot of encounters, and I share a lot of my information just openly with people, but a lot of people want to learn and try to apply it for their daily lives. So we usually, if I'll do like a new moon, or you can bring in 10 wishes on a new moon and your intentions and share that. So we throw out a date, like we'll throw out a date, and we'll say, does that work? And I'll just wing it and keep it simple, have fun with it. And that's what we do. We just throw out a flyer out my store, and we're saying we're going to set this date, and whoever wants to participate, and we make it happen.
So even if someone has not been to an angel workshop before,
right. Yes,
they can
join in,
contact you, and we're showing your email address, so people can contact you,
or call
get more information,
and pop in the store, and it's with like-minded people. You connect with so many people at our level, like when you walked in my store.
Yes.
It's like
all those years ago.
Yes.
All right, I know that you have a whole new project, and we don't have anything here today to show for it because it has not manifested in the mundane world yet, but it will soon.
Yes.
And you have actually created your own oracle deck.
Yes.
So tell me about that. Well, first let's tell people what an oracle deck is, because not everybody might be familiar with it. So when I think of it, I think of a deck of cards, and they probably have some pretty image on it, and usually there are words, some kind of a message or a piece of advice, or some kind of a symbol, but something, and then you shuffle them and you pull at random, and there is that kind of just a connection that whatever you pull seems to have a meaning for you for that day. So you've created your own.
Yes.
And what's it about?
I call Meg's Inspirational Messages for the Day. And it's an oracle deck, 24 cards, and both sides with words and then messages. And I wrote a little spiel. And when I wrote it, I just drew in, the guides that were connecting me with my writing, how to use them.
Well, give me an example. What might be on one?
Oh, my favorite one. This is a really great story. You'll love this because you're into what I'm into. So cool. I was struggling with love is the strongest force in the universe because from 7 in the morning to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I couldn't get it. Nothing was coming. Every time I kept saying, love is the strongest force in the universe. Nothing. Love is the strongest force in the universe. Nothing. Finally, I went outside and I started painting the light pole in our yard, copper and gold. And I'm painting it, and I'm on a ladder. I'm like, love is the strongest force in the universe. And all of a sudden, I'm like, it's that simple.
You were looking to add something to it or to embellish it?
Because love is the strongest force in the universe. You can't top it. So when I said put words to that oracle card, it's that simple. As soon as I said that, an eagle came out of our woods over the ladder, and it started circling a figure 8 over my head in Manchester, Connecticut. And I'm like, an eagle? So I said, wow. So wow. It was like an aha moment. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and that was the last card I was struggling with to put words to it. So when you use my deck, you're not going to just get my words of inspiration and positive messages. You're going to get my artwork that's going to change your life, because you're going to look at the colors, and the colors have a lot of healing energies, meaning, upbeat, fun, happy. Mm-hmm. Where do you go in the middle of winter time when it's raining and dreary and you're depressed because it's crappy out there in New England? You're going to look at my colors and you're like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I can live like that.
I just want to mention too, people have been watching the show, and behind us we do have a couple of your posters, and I just want people to be able to see that splash of color, because it is bright, it's vibrant, and something that's energizing, very uplifting. Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Meg, I think couple quick things. How could a person stay abreast of what's going on in the store? When I think of all of these authors coming, and I think about the couple of them I've missed because I've been off doing other things and just feel terrible afterwards. But I want to mark my calendar. What's the best way for someone to stay in touch so that they know who you have coming to the store?
Either pop in or check my website, I guess. I try as much as I can, as soon as I find out an event, have my web designer put it up there, and as well as get flyers made, and and word of mouth, or call me on the phone, or just check, basically randomly pop in, or call me, or the website. Probably those three.
All right, I want to ask too, just sort of an overall question, because you've been doing this work for over 20 years. And I know that certainly people in our town come there, but people come from a lot of other towns as well. What do you think people are hungry for today? Why are they seeking this kind of spiritual information?
Happiness, and they want to feel loved, love and happiness. They're starving for it, and now it's life. I think in this, it's not just about the money, and I think the wealthier you are, it's like you reach that plateau, and a lot of the people are like,
what else is there?
Yeah, and that's what I think.
Yeah,
my thing hasn't happened the money thing, but I'm like, oh my gosh.
I have to tell you, unfortunately, I'm getting the signal that we're out of time. But I just wanted to say, I remember a couple times I call on the phone, and you have a phenomenal message on your answering machine. What does it say?
Leave me a positive message, and then I always say, if you don't go within, you go without.
Absolutely. If you don't go within, you go without. Meg, thanks very much for being on the show. It was really, really wonderful. And thanks to my FB crew and to you and the viewing audience. I say this every week, and I mean it sincerely. I do know the value of time. Thank you once again for sharing an evening with me. Bye-bye.
Full Bloom is brought to you in part by the following.